couple of things have changed since the last time I made one of these videos. First off, sprinting is a thing in Half-Life. I think you probably all know about that. I've never really liked sprinting mechanics personally, so I wanted to get rid of it. And I was looking in the code to see how to do that, but I seem to have inadvertently unlocked, like not totally unlocked, but I've increased the player's maximum speed to be something way higher than it should be. So if you find a way to run faster than the W key does, so for instance holding down W and A and pointing kind of sideways, you can move crazy fast. Look at this. I'm just like flying across the map here. I mean, this is just insane. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's pretty good. I also changed some things about the weapons. Just as placeholders, I've taken a bunch of sounds from Counter-Strike, so I'm slowly kind of implementing them into the gun. So right now the AR2 sounds like this, which I think is a lot cooler, but it's also a lot louder. Still haven't changed the sound for like the SMG. I actually really quite like this one. It's very good, I think. But that's actually caused another kind of interesting issue. So you hear the AI firing at me over there, which is a good sound. That sounds very good in my opinion. What I wanted to do though is slowly change to being this sound as I get close to them. So I'll go ahead and approach. And they still sound like they're miles away despite being right there, yeah? And that is that should probably be fixed at some point. But I'm having a lot of trouble figuring out how to do it, so this is an issue that's kind of persisting in the mod, right? Dude! You guys. I didn't train you to do that. That's... Additionally, to fix the raving AI lunatics thing, I went into the code and I specified that if the owner of the weapon is the player, that it'll have perfect accuracy for the spread. Otherwise, it has an accuracy of 1 degree for the AR2 and then 2 degrees for the SMG. And the idea here is to try and make the SMG people dangerous up at close range, with the AR2 people more dangerous at long range. But I'm really not totally satisfied with this solution. I think there's got to be a better way to do it, but I'm still just kind of trying to think of how to do it. Especially because implementing anything is quite difficult at this stage, but you know, we'll get there eventually. But I'll show you. This is actually doable now. Ow. Yeah, I mean, as you can see, they're still quite good at what they do, but not nearly so much as they used to be. I mean, they used to just kill you. Oh my, look how fast I'm running. Hiya! That must look so silly. Oh, jeez. I can show you in the code where all these things are happening. I don't know, this might not interest everybody, but you know, I find it pretty interesting. Anyway, I made a new macro called vector cone perfect to just return a cone of 0 degrees essentially away from the, what would you call it? Center. That's the word. Anyway, so this here exists. They had like an old way of doing pistol accuracy, where it was just a very set cone. But in base Half-Life 2, they actually changed your accuracy. I think it was like from 1 degree to like 6 or something. And so the idea was that if you fired a shot, it would add up like an accuracy penalty time, and then if you fired again during that time, it would increase your inaccuracy until you waited for that recovery time to end, which is pretty similar, I think, to how a lot of games do it. So I've just changed the macros that are in here, so I put perfect in there instead of 1 degree. And then the NPCs, they used to have 5 degrees, like, that's really terrible, so I just changed it to 1. And that makes the NPCs a little bit less, like, terrible at shooting at you. Although now that I look at it, this is kind of a silly way to do it, defining NPC cone and cone. Well, I guess that happens after the return, but still, if the player fires it, this takes up more memory than it needs to, because this line here just it gets defined for no reason. So let's just fix that right now, shall we? Might as well. Anyway, moving on now. We move on to the AR2, and this one used to be fixed for all kinds of characters. So you had a certain how do I say? You had a certain cone that it would fire, and that was for everyone, regardless of who the owner was. And by the way, I don't even know really what these functions do totally. It's just that, you know, I can, how do you say? I can understand like how it's working, but I don't really know what's in this function. I don't know what file it's defined in or whatever. So it's a little, I'm still quite surface level on this mod. I don't really totally get what's going on, but I'm still able to change things. So basically, I've just used the function again the same way that it was in the weapon pistol CPP file. So now, if it's the NPC, he has a cone of 1 degree. If it's you, it's a perfect cone. And then for the SMG, we use something similar, but now the NPC has a cone of 2 degrees, like I said earlier. And I have this comment in here. You can see I really don't like this system necessarily, but it'll work for now. It's kind of a good placeholder. So I'll be coming back to look at this later on, of course. So on a related note. I found out what was going on with the auto-aim thing. Essentially, there was a float declared for every NPC, and I think on base NPC they had one, and then it changes on like the individual NPCs if they want it to be higher or lower. But it's called this auto-aim radius here. Well, this is a function anyway, but it's returning a value, as you can see. And this, I believe, is supposed to be the distance away from the exact center of the NPC, where if the crosshair is in that distance, we should just fire directly at his center of mass. And that's obviously terrible in my opinion, so I just changed them all from returning an actual number to just returning 0.0, which means that it'll snap your aim to the middle of him if you're already pointing at the exact middle of him, which is a kind of a ham-fisted way of doing this. Obviously later I'm going to want to find these functions and just like delete them, but for now this will work. You can see it exists on all kinds of NPCs here, so. Oh, I was like, this one still says 24. But yeah, well, this is if we're running on like a console. So I left the console ones the same because I don't know, why not? Like here it is for the zombie. I changed it from 12 to 0. So that's how I ended up solving that problem, which is pretty cool. I feel, ooh, a message. I feel fairly clever for discovering it, I guess. Well, that's what's been going on recently with the mod, in case you were wondering. I still need to figure out this movement issue, but I feel pretty pleased about the progress that I've been making so far. I've been pretty busy recently. I can say that. But, you know, things should be getting a lot less hectic in my life pretty soon. I'm stuck in the door there. So I should be able to work on the mod a bit more, and hopefully I'll have some pretty cool progress to show you next time I make one of these videos. Till then, see you next time.